Welcome back to part 2 of talking about privileges. This one I'm going to talk about the practicalities of white privilege. And in order to do that, I'm going to be using the White Privilege Checklist by Peggy McIntosh. This was a checklist that was made in 1989 and since has gained a lot of fame. There's a huge list of white privileges that I want to go through one by one and talk about them, but I have put them into categories so we can go through them much faster. So the question is, am I ready to check my white privilege? Spoiler alert, probably not, but let's get started. Okay, the first one I have up is I need to be a racist. That means in order for me to accept these privileges, I would have to be a racist. I would have to say that these privileges give me some type of advantage, or at least bare minimum that they are important to me. Okay, let's go through these. I can, if I wish, arrange to be in the company of people of my race most of the time. Well, man, I can't tell you how many times I just needed to take a break from being near dark people. I mean, it's like, oh, thank goodness, I can be around white people. Oh, phew. I can turn on the television or open the front page of a paper and see people of my race widely represented. Man, I can't tell you how grateful it is. I mean, how wonderful it is just to be around people of your own race. If you had to be around, darkies all the time, that makes me feel like a slave owner. And I just don't know if some people understand how horrible it feels to be racist. It's just great just to be around, just white people, and you don't have to feel like you're a racist. I'm pretty sure that if I ask to talk to a person in charge, I will be facing a person of my race. Yeah, I just sometimes say, oh, come on, please don't be the black guy. Whatever it is, that person in charge, I hope it's not the black guy. I can easily buy posters, postcards, pictures, books, greeting cards, dolls, toys, and children magazines featuring people of my race. I would never let my kid play with a black doll. I mean, all those posters of Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or other pop culture icons, yeah, they're all coming down. I mean, there's no way in hell I'm letting that happen. I can walk into a classroom and know I will not be the only member of my race. I can't tell you how many times in college I peeked my head around the door and I said, oh, come on, don't let there be too many dark people. Oh, come on, please don't let me be too many dark people. Alright, and I can enroll in class at college and be sure the majority of the professors will be of my race. And then you see, it's the teacher. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to accept any of these as privileges at all. Whoever wrote this is a horrible person. And I can't believe they even put these down as privileges. Alright, the next group is there needs to be racist. These are the groups where there has to be a racist involved. I've talked in my other video about absolute and relative advantages, and all of these are gives me, a white guy, a relative advantage, but no absolute advantage. In other words, these are all -1 in the other category as opposed to a +1 in my category. And this is why it is so important to fight against racism. And there are some real good legitimate ones in here. So let's see. If I need to move, I can pretty sure rent or purchase housing in which I can afford and in which I would want to live. This one's kind of a weird one because I didn't know what it really meant by that. I mean, is it talking like all white people are rich and they can afford to live wherever they want? Or are they saying all black people are poor and they can't find good living quarters? Or me growing up poor, I know I couldn't find have that big range of where our family wanted to live. But I mean, are they talking like black people don't want to, or have to live in huge crime areas, or are they talking about black people don't want to live with black people, or they don't want to live with white people? I mean, you can comment below exactly what. I mean, it just seems this one is tainted with a bit of racism. If I want to, I can pretty sure of finding a publisher for this piece of white privilege. Yeah, in this one there has to be a racist involved in this one, because this checklist is pretty racist, and whoever wrote this is a pretty good piece of trash. So yeah, there would have to be a huge racist involved in this one. Whether I use a check, credit cards, or cash, I can count on my skin color not to work against the appearance of financial reliability. I didn't really know how to categorize this one. If you saw my other ones, I didn't know if they're talking like, other black people have trashed the name of black so much they can't use checks or credit cards or cash because they're so financially irreliable, or is it that the person who's using cash, credit cards, they just can't, they're always worried about, it affecting their race, or what this one was about. I mean, this one has a touch of racism spewed in this one too. But as far as this one goes, there would have to be someone who is prejudiced, to be doing the judging. Anyways, moving on. I can arrange to protect my children most of the time from people who might not like them. Yeah, I hope this one goes down. I hope this one has been going down. This one is absolutely from, why we need to fight against racism. And I hope we see less and less of this. And a lot of people scream out racism on things that, even though they're not racist, like, in order to protect your children, don't, teach them not to go out in the street with real looking guns. You're going to get shot. Probably not just by the police, but by other people. So, protect your children by teaching them well too. I can swear or dress in secondhand clothes and not answer letters without having people attribute these choices to bad morals, the poverty, and illiteracy of my race. This one you should probably be more concerned how it reflects on you personally. In the other checklist there also says the smelliness of you, or the roundness of how round you are. It's like this is more has an effect on how people may think of you personally. And then, may have something on your race, but mainly this is a reflection on you. And you should worry about that more rather than your race. But since we're talking about race, and this would have a reflection on your race, okay, yeah. So this is another reason why we should be less prejudiced, because we should see these other people who actually are, do these things as them personally and not as the whole race. I can do well in challenging situations without being called a credit to my race. Well, this one doesn't necessarily need to be a racist in there. There could be just someone who wants to congratulate you, or some way give you credit. They see race is important to you, so they may say you're a credit to your race without trying to be racist or anything. They're just trying to make you feel good because they see how important your race is. This is someone who might be socially inept, or not that socially good with people. I never asked to speak for all the people of my racial group. Yeah, this one takes out the individuality of the person, as does the one before. This one, I love to watch YouTube channels where there are black people who think that they do speak for their whole race, these conscious black people, and they get ticked off at other black people who don't agree with them. Well, guess what? Blacks are individuals, and I love watching those and just laughing at them and saying, yeah, guess what? Not all black people think the same. They're individuals. I can choose public accommodations without fearing that people of my race cannot get in or out and will be mistreated in the place where I've chosen. This one I can't talk too much about because I don't know much about it. I hope we see less and less of this, of course. Another reason to fight racism and prejudice is so we see less and less of this. And that's important. Okay, and the next one, I call it there needs to be racist, and this is a subcategory that its effects due to others. Um, this might not have anything to do with you personally, but others may have affected this one way or another. And I may be getting the most hate out of this section here, out of any of them, because I'm going to say something. There is a reason why people are racist. There are reasons why prejudices exist. People see patterns and they create judgments, and this is important to human survival. And we see this on things like racial profiling, for example, is one thing that even though you might not have done something wrong, you may get the effects for it. For example, okay, let's get into the list. It says I can go shopping alone most of the time. Pretty sure, well assured that I will not be followed or harassed. This may have nothing to do with you. It may have to do with other people who may have shoplifted. I can see both sides of this, both sides of the coin on this one. The shop owner really needs to protect his assets, and he may be more prejudiced, have prejudgments towards other people coming in. I believe this is less to do with race as it is to do with how people are dressed, that type of thing. You may disagree with me on that, but I'm not going to go too much into that. I can pretty sure that my neighbors in such locations will be neutral or pleasant to me. I'm going to throw in white flight here. White flight is a thing. People may see a pattern in other communities and feel that that's the way their neighborhood is going to go. Hence, white flight. And this one, or just this one, just might just be straight up racism and prejudice that just needs to be abolished. If a traffic stop pulls me over, I can assure that I haven't been singled out because of my race. Once again, a lot of racial profiling might be effect on this one. It might be just like the infamous stop in Milwaukee, where the person was looking for a robber who held up a store at gunpoint and pulled over someone who was innocent. And then things escalated at the stop, and accidents happened, and the person died. So these type of things we would like to see less and less of, but that may not be due to you personally, but it does affect you. This last one I'm going to call a little bit of BS on. I can be sure that if I need legal or medical help, my race will not work against me. The legal thing, after you've worked in the system long enough and you hear all the times, I didn't do nothing, I've watched plenty of cop videos where, right after they did that, it's caught on camera, and then there's, what are you doing? Well, I didn't do nothing. It's like, okay, these are the way prejudices are formed, and it's very difficult to get it out, and it may have nothing to do with you personally. The medical one, absolutely, I agree absolutely. The medical industry may be trying to make money, and then they see race as a way of making certain money. I think studying a little bit of black history, I think blacks got really screwed a lot in the medical field. But I would like to see that improved. I would say okay on that one. Yeah, that one needs to be improved on that one.